안녕하세요. 저는 보은 임마누엘 교회 김유미 권사입니다.
Hello everyone, I'm Senior Deaconess Kim Yumi from the Poon Emmanuel Church.
이 자리에는 많은 믿음의 역사와 전도의 간증들을 가지고 계신 귀한 중직자분들이 많이 계시고 당장 저희 교회만 해도 정말 너무 많은 믿음의 역사와 제가 롤모델로 삼을 만큼 많은 전도의 간증을 가지고 계신 믿음의 선배들이 많이 계십니다.
Already here in this place, there are many church officers who have seen the works of faith and who also have a lot of evidence and fruits from evangelism. Especially even in my church, there are many people with the works of faith that I look up to as my own personal role model.
그런데 어쩌다가 너무 부족한 제가 이 자리에 서게 돼서 너무 죄송한 마음이 있습니다.
And so I feel very sorry because I'm very lacking and inadequate, but God has raised me up here as a person to give them my testimony.
예, 저는 대전에서 태어나서 6살 때 갑자기 아버지가 돌아가시게 돼서 엄마와 남동생과 함께 보은으로 이사 오게 되었습니다.
I was actually born in Daejeon, but when I was 6 years old, my father all of a sudden passed away. And so my mother, my younger brother, and myself, we moved to the region of Poon.
예, 보은에서 저희 엄마가 재혼을 하셨고 저는 새로운 가정을 맞이하게 되었는데 저희 아버지에게 새로 맞이한 아버지에게 그 심각한 그 도박과 알코올 중독 문제가 있는지 저희들은 뒤늦게서 알게 되었습니다.
In Poon, my mother got remarried, and we had a new family that was formed. But we found out much later that my new stepfather had problems with alcoholism as well as gambling.
그래서 저희 가정은 늘 엄마 아빠가 싸우시는 모습을 보면서 자랄 수밖에 없었고 저는 늘 불안하고 두려웠습니다.
And so we had no choice but to always see fights break out from my mother and my father amongst that relationship. And we were always growing up within an atmosphere of fear and anxiety.
예, 심지어 제가 초등학교 5학년 때는 밤에 잠을 자고 있는데 저희 엄마가 저를 깨우셔서 동생과 함께 택시에 태우고 어디로 향하는 것이었어요.
To the point where when I was in 5th grade, it was the middle of the night and my mother came and woke me up and she took me and my younger brother and put us in a taxi and we were going somewhere.
바로 저희가 살던 대전으로 우리가 보은에서 택시를 타고 왔는데 남동생과 저에게 저희 엄마가 음료수를 주시면서 우리 같이 먹자 그러시는 거예요.
And so we took that taxi cab from Poon where we were living to the place in Daejeon where we used to live. And we took that cab there. We went into a place and my mother handed my brother and I a cup with a beverage saying, let's all just drink this together.
저는 그게 음료수인 줄 알고 마시려고 했는데 제 남동생이 갑자기 엄마 그 음료수에 엄마가 농약 탄 거 알고 있다고 우리 살려달라고 막 소리를 지르는 거예요.
And so I thought it was just a beverage. I was right about to drink it, but all of a sudden my younger brother began to scream out saying, Mom, I know that you put pesticide inside the drink, and please just save us, spare us our lives.
그래서 저도 역시 살고 싶다고 살려달라고 막 애원을 했죠.
And so even I told my mother, I want to live as well, and we were begging for our lives.
예, 그 이후로도 그것 때문에 저희 엄마가 다시 저희들을 데리고 저희가 살던 보은으로 돌아오게 되었습니다.
And because of that, my mother took me and my brother back to Poon where we were living at the time.
저는 그때부터 소망이 없었어요.
And at that time, I really had no hope.
내가 의지할 사람은 엄마밖에 없었는데 엄마는 아버지랑 늘 싸우시느라고 아파서 자주 알아 누우셨었거든요.
Because the only person that I could actually depend on was my mother, but because she was always constantly fighting with my stepfather, she was ill all the time and she was always lying in her bed.
그러다가 중학교 2학년 때 제가 생각했어요.
And when I was in 8th grade, I thought to myself,
하나님이란 분이 계실까? 하나님이라는 분이 계시다면 한번 찾아봐야 되겠다고 생각했습니다.
I thought to myself, does God really exist? Because if God does exist, I want to seek after him. I want to find him.
그 당시 제가 살던 동네에 전도사님이 한 분 계셨는데 늘 자전거에다 아이들을 2-3명씩 태워가지고 왔다 갔다 바쁘게 왔다 갔다 하시는 전도사님이 한 분 계셨습니다.
At that time in the neighborhood where we were living, there was an assistant pastor who was always riding his bike around. He always had 2 or 3 children on the bike and he was always moving around very busily.
근데 그 전도사님 얼굴을 우연히 길에서 볼 때마다 얼굴이 평안해 보여서 저 전도사님이 계신 저 교회에 한번 가봐야 되겠다 생각하고 혼자서 그 교회를 찾아서 가보게 되었습니다.
And every time I ran across him on the streets, he always had a look of such peace on his face that I thought to myself, I want to go to the church where he's attending. And so by myself, I actually went to that church.
그 전도사님이 바로 지금 저희 목사님이신데요. 저는 그때부터 목사님의 지도를 받아서 새벽 기도부터 수요일, 금요일 모든 예배에 참석하면서 열심히 하나님을 찾았습니다.
And so that assistant pastor is my senior pastor now, but by his guidance, I was able to begin my walk of faith. And I went to early morning prayer service, I went to Wednesday night service, Friday night service, and really diligently I sought after God.
하나님이 살아계신 건 알고 예수님이 나의 죄 때문에 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨다는 확신은 있었는데 그닥 사는 게 옛날과 똑같이 힘들긴 마찬가지였습니다.
And I knew that God really did exist, and I knew that Jesus was the Christ, that He had died for my sins, but my life was just the same before and now.
그래도 신앙생활, 예수 믿는 건 다 이런 건가 보다, 이렇게 고달프게 사는 건가 보다 하면서 핍박을 견디면서 열심히 신앙생활을 했습니다.
But I just simply thought to myself, perhaps this is what living your walk of faith is about. It's a little bit exhaustive, but maybe everyone else lives like this as well. And so diligently I continued my walk of faith.
그런데 어느 날 지금부터 한 20년쯤 전쯤에 저희 보은 지역에서 유광수 목사님 집회가 있었습니다.
But one day, about 20 years from today, there was a conference that was held that was hosted by Reverend Yu Gang-soo.
그때 저희 목사님께서 인도하셔서 저희 모든 성도님들과 저희는 유광수 목사님 집회에 참석을 하게 되었습니다.
And so, by the assistance of our senior pastor, all of our church members were able to go there and attend the conference led by Pastor Yu.
저는 그때 개인적으로 은혜는 조금 받았지만 그게 하나님의 인도하심인지 어떤 감동이나 그런 것은 별로 없었습니다.
And so when I attended the conference, I did receive some grace, but I didn't really see it as a subtle guidance of God.
근데 저희 목사님은 집회 후에 저희들을 불러 모으셔서 저희들에게 중요한 고백을 하셨습니다.
But after the conference ended, our senior pastor gathered our church members together and he gave a very important confession.
저희는 알지 못했었는데 저희 목사님은 그때 목회의 한계를 느끼셨다고 합니다.
And we didn't know it at the time, but our pastor confessed that he had experienced a limitation in his pastoral ministry.
이대로 가다가는 교회가 존속되지도 못하겠구나.
And he thought that in this way, just like this, the church could not be sustained.
하나님 가장 가치 있고 올바른 목회를 하게 해주세요.
And he was in the midst of praying to God, asking, help me to live my walk of faith and help me to have a pastoral ministry that you value very much.
이렇게 간절히 기도하셨는데 드디어 하나님께서 응답하셨다고 그러면서 지금까지 여러분을 잘못 가르쳐서 미안하다. 내가 몰라서 그랬는데 이제 앞으로는 우리 교회가 세계 복음화의 방향으로 갈 것이다 라고 선포하셨습니다.
And so he had been praying that way, and that evangelism conference was his own personal answer. He apologized to us, saying that he had been teaching us the incorrect ways, and then he said that from now on our church would take the direction of being a church to do world evangelization.
저는 그때도 그런가 보다. 그냥 그렇게 생각하고 그닥 중요하게 생각하지는 못했습니다.
And even at that time I thought to myself, well, perhaps that's true. I didn't really see it as being very important at the time.
그런데 그날 이후로 저희 목사님은 설교 제목은 다른데 설교 내용은 항상 똑같이 예수 그리스도의 비밀만 말씀하시는 거예요.
But from that day on, every single time he gave a sermon, the sermon titles were always different, but the content was always about Jesus being the Christ.
은혜가 될 때도 많았지만 정말 머리에서 쥐가 나려고 하는 거예요.
And so of course we did receive a lot of grace from that, but oftentimes I was getting a big headache because it was so repetitive.
정말 굳건하게 오늘까지도 예수 그리스도의 비밀을 칠판에 쓰시면서 그 5가지 기본 메시지를 오늘도 하셨거든요.
And so even today he gave a sermon about Jesus Christ, about the mystery, the blessings, the 5 blessings.
저는 그 메시지를 들으면서 제가 힘들었던 은혜를 받았던 간에 그 순간에 제 속에 잘못 각인된 많은 부분들이 빠져나가고 있었다는 것을 알지 못했습니다.
And I didn't really realize that whether I was getting a headache from it being so repetitive or not, at that moment all the things that were wrongly imprinted in me were already coming out from me.
목사님께서는 또 훈련은 응답이다 말씀하시면서 열심히 훈련받으라고 또 말씀을 하셨습니다.
Our pastor also said that even training is a blessing, so he really encouraged us to receive a lot of training.
그래서 저는 전도 합수까지 받으면서 훈련을 많이 받았지만 막상 목사님은 복음 때문에 너무 행복하고 감사해서 늘 간증을 하시는데 저는 그게 잘 지속되지 않았습니다.
And so by his encouragement and his advice, I actually received even evangelism camp training. But though he was always so joyful and happy by the answers that he was receiving from the gospel, I really didn't experience that very much, and I could not continue that grace.
저에게 있는 많은 영적인 문제들이 보였는데 어떻게 그 문제 앞에서 속수무책인 내 자신을 발견할 때가 있었습니다.
There are many times when I saw the spiritual problems that were inherent inside of me, but I felt so powerless before all of those problems.
그러던 어느 날 저희 교회에서 전도 집중 훈련이 있었습니다.
Then one day, our church began the evangelism intensive training.
첫날 숙제로 황금어장과 300노트에 대한 그런 숙제를 내주셨습니다.
And on the first day, were given an assignment regarding the analysis of the golden field, as well as a 300 note.
저는 그때 황금어장이란 당연히 보은 지역에 있는 25개의 초중고다 이렇게 생각했습니다.
And at that time, I thought about it in a very generalized sense, thinking that, of course, the golden field is 25 elementary and junior high schools in the Poland region.
그래서 보은 지역 25개의 초중고 이름을 적어서 숙제로 내야 되겠다라고 생각했습니다.
And so I thought to myself, I'm just going to write up a list of the elementary and junior high school names in the Pohon region, the 25 of them, and then submit it.
그래서 첫날 이제 집회를 마치고 훈련을 마치고 집으로 돌아와서 신발을 벗는데 갑자기 머릿속이 꽉 울렸습니다.
And so after the first day we had received the training, I was returning home, I was taking off my shoes, and all of a sudden I heard a ringing in my ears.
황금어장? 황금어장, 내가 있는 곳이 황금어장이구나. 지금까지 내가 10년 넘게 있었던 이 어린이집, 70명의 원아와 140명의 가족이 있는 이곳이 황금어장이구나 라는 큰 충격이 다가왔습니다.
All of a sudden I had this shocking revelation that the place where I am in is my golden field. I had been part of this daycare center for over 10 years now. There are 70 students enrolled, over 140 family members. I realized that was my golden field.
이 황금어장이 내 가까이 있었는데 나는 발견하지 못했던 거죠.
In other words, the golden field was so close and near to me, but I could not realize it until then.
저는 이 깨달은 사실이 너무 기뻐서 그 밤에 목사님께 전화를 드려서 목사님 제가 황금어장을 발견했어요. 바로 우리 어린이집이 황금어장인데 저는 그것을 몰랐습니다라고 막 감격 속에 전화를 드렸습니다.
I was so overjoyed by this revelation that I immediately called my pastor and told him, I discovered my golden field. I realized that my daycare center is my golden field. I didn't realize it until now.
그래서 그 전에는 300노트를 쓰는데 머릿속에는 해야 되겠다 했지만 실천이 잘 안 됐던 300노트가 어린이집 원화를 중심으로 쓰다 보니까 굉장히 쉽게 그날 밤에 밤늦게까지 쓰게 되었습니다.
And so before that assignment of writing up a roster of 300 people to share the gospel with seemed so tedious. I always thought to myself, I need to do this, but I couldn't. But that night I wrote up the list of all the students enrolled in our daycare center, and it took place very easily for me.
근데 그 밤에 전화벨이 울리고 전화를 제가 받게 되었습니다.
And that very night, all of a sudden I received a phone call, so I picked up the phone.
오래전에 저와 다락방을 하다가 저를 떠나게 된 아이가 다시 전화를 걸어서 저에게 물었습니다.
There was a student whom I had shared the gospel with, and we had been doing 다락방 together, but then she had left my side, and all of a sudden she was calling me to ask again.
선생님 아직도 그 예수 그리스도 얘기하고 있느냐고, 그리고 내가 지금 죽겠다고 나에게 그 얘기를 다시 한번 해달라고 그렇게 막 절망하는 듯한 목소리로 전화를 하는 것을 제가 받게 되었습니다.
And so I received this telephone call from that same student, and she was in such despair, and she was saying, Teacher, are you still talking about Jesus Christ? You shared that with me before. And she was saying, I'm about to die right now. Can you share that with me again?
그때 저는 이 일이 하나님이 기뻐하시는 일이구나라는 것을 알 수 있었습니다.
And at that time I realized once again that this work that I'm doing now, this is the work that God is so pleased with.
그렇게 기쁜 마음으로 밤을 지내고 아침에 출근을 하는데 조금 과장된 표현으로 저희 어린이집이 10년 넘게 15년 가까이 보았던 어린이집이 다르게 보이기 시작했습니다.
And so that night I ended the evening with a very joyful heart. The next morning I was going back to work. I had been attending that daycare center, working there for the past 10 to 15 years, but in a slightly exaggerated tone, it looked completely different to me.
그래서 저는 나는 여기서 이 현장에서 오늘부터 집중 훈련을 할 수 있구나라고 생각하며 아이들을 집중적으로 관찰하기 시작했습니다.
And so I realized that in this very field and this scene of location, I was able to really carry out the intensive training with the students that I was involved with, and that's how I began my day.
저희 어린이집 아이들은 제가 때로는 의무감에 의해서 어쩔 때는 뜨거운 가슴을 가지고 수도 없이 영접을 시키며 구원 받았겠지라고 의심스러운 눈으로 아이들을 바라볼 때도 있었습니다.
There were also some moments when I had such a very passionate heart towards the students, and whenever I saw problems arise for them, I would lead them to accept Christ time and time again, but still I was suspicious of whether they knew Jesus or not.
아이들은 원래 선생님이 하나님과 동급인 줄 알고 선생님 말씀을 무조건 따르는 성향이 있거든요.
And so children have a tendency to listen to all the words of the teacher because they think that the teacher is like a godlike figure.
그래서 아이들이 단체로 복음을 듣고 영접을 했어도 과연 영접을 했는지 늘 조금 의심스럽기도 할 때가 있었거든요.
And so all of them had heard the gospel and all of them had accepted Jesus, but there's still sometimes when I doubted to myself, did they really accept Jesus?
근데 그날에는 제가 황금어장을 발견하고 그 다음날 출근한 그날에는 아이들에게 복음을 전하는데 그 전에 내가 아니었습니다.
But after realizing this place was my golden field, the next day I shared the gospel with them once again, and that was not the same field I was in before.
문제를 일으키는 아동 중심으로 또 트러블을 일으키거나 또 서로 싸우거나 하는 아동 중심으로 복음을 전하게 되었어요.
I began to share the gospel centered on the problematic children, the troublemakers, as well as those who showed some problems as well.
그러면서 제가 생각하기를, 이 아이들이 영접을 했겠지, 영접이 되었겠지라고 이제 생각하며 아이들을 바라보았습니다.
And with the heart thinking to myself that they had in fact accepted Jesus, I looked with those kinds of eyes at these children.
그런데 그날 오후에 참 신기한 일이, 저에게는 참 신기한 일이었습니다.
And that same afternoon, something very amazing happened. It was very amazing from my standpoint.
몸이 굉장히 작고 왜소하고 지능도 그다지 훌륭하지 못해서 여러 가지를 못하는 아이가 있었는데 또래 아이들이 놀이 중에 그 아이에게 대고 막 놀리는 것이었어요.
There was a child who is very small in size and even their intellect is not very high. And so we were having some sort of playtime, but the other students were making fun of that student.
야, 너는 영어도 못하고 한자도 못하고 한글도 모르고 너 초등학교 어떻게 갈래? 라고 막 그 아이에게 너는 힘도 없어서 닭싸움도 못하잖아 라고 무시하는 그런 말을 했습니다.
And they're really looking down on that student. They were saying, you don't know English, you don't know Chinese characters, you don't know Korean. How can you go to elementary school? You don't even have the strength to be involved with this chicken fight.
근데 그 아이가 갑자기 오른손을 쫙 내밀더니 말하는 거예요. 야, 나는 하나님 자녀거든. 라고 말을 하는 거예요.
But all of a sudden that student put out his right hand and he was saying, you know what? I'm a child of God.
하나님이 내 안에 있단 말이야. 라고 진지하게 말을 했어요.
And he was very earnest and he said, God is inside of me.
저는 그 환경을 보고 놀랐습니다.
And when I saw this scene unfold before my eyes, I was amazed.
제가 진짜 영접했구나. 또 저 아이가 성령의 내주를 누리고 있구나라고 너무 감격 속에 그 환경을 보게 되었습니다.
And I was so touched because I realized that person has really sincerely accepted Jesus Christ and he's really enjoying that indwelling of the Holy Spirit.
그 다음 날에는 한 아동이 또 놀라운 고백을 했는데 그 아이가 아침에 저에게 이렇게 말을 하는 거예요.
The next day, another child gave an amazing confession and he told me in the morning,
선생님, 하나님이 나를 조종하고 있어요.
he said, teacher, I think that God is really controlling me.
그 아이는 짜증이 심해서 부모님도 그 아이를 컨트롤하지 못하는 아이였는데 선생님, 제가 짜증이 안 나요.
And this child was easily irritated, so even his parents could not manage him very well. But he was saying, teacher, I'm not really irritable today.
아빠가 머리에 알밤을 줘도 웃음이 나와요.
And even when my father takes his fist and punches me in the head, I don't really get angry anymore.
어제 내 안에 들어오신 하나님이 나를 조종하고 있어요.
And God who came into my heart yesterday, He's controlling me right now.
저는 그런 작은 사건들을 보면서 성령의 내주를 누리는구나 그런 감동을 받게 되었습니다.
And through these small situations and things that arose, I really was inspired and touched because I realized He's enjoying the indwelling of the Holy Spirit.
그래서 아이들을 소수 그룹으로 영접을 하고 양육을 하는 그런 과정 속에 있었고 퇴근 후에는 또 전에 오래전 제가 뜨거운 가슴을 안고 막 영접 운동을 열심히 했지만 양육을 하지 않았던 많은 아이들에게 전화가 오기 시작했습니다.
And so we would take those students and separate them into small groups to help them to accept Jesus again. And then we were nurturing them. And after I ended my work, there were also some students I had shared the gospel with them with a compassionate heart, but I hadn't been nurturing them. They began to call me.
그래서 그 아이들을 만나서 같이 다락방을 하게 되었고 말씀 운동이 시작되었습니다.
And so I invited those students and we began a darakbang. This word movement began.
그 이후에 그 예비 지교회 모임이 있었고 40일 집중 훈련이 있었습니다.
And after that moment, we had preparatory meeting for the preparatory regional churches and we also had our 40-day prayer.
40일 집중 훈련에서 특별히 제가 가장 부담을 느낀 것은 무조건 하루에 한 명을 영접해서 카톡으로 올려야 되는 것이 제일 힘들었습니다.
And especially during the 40-day intensive training period, we had to actually lead one person to accept Jesus every single day and put it into the KakaoTalk messages.
왜냐하면 이미 알고 있는 아이들은 다 영접을 한 상태이기 때문에 새로 영접할 사람이 보이지 않았거든요.
It was so burdensome for me because already all the children that I knew had accepted Jesus and there was really nobody around me who could accept Jesus again.
그러나 그 과제를 수행하기 위해서 영접할 사람이 없으면 초등학교나 또 퇴근 후에 집에 들어갈 수가 없어서 초등학교나 중고등학교 현장에 가서 복음을 전하기도 했습니다.
But in order to fulfill my obligation for this training, because there were no other students around me, I decided that after work I would go to the elementary schools or junior high schools to share the gospel to the students there.
근데 저는 그때 삼오늘이 무엇인지 그때 정확하게 알 수 있었습니다.
And during that time was when I came to realize what the 3 days actually was.
내가 붙잡은 오늘의 말씀이 그것이 내 오늘의 기도가 되었고 하루 스케줄 속에 그것이 내 전도가 되고 있다는 것을 저는 그때 체험할 수 있었습니다.
Because I experienced at that time that I was holding on to today's word, that today's word became today's prayer for me. And then when I looked out at my field, that became today's evangelism.
특히 전도가 참 막연하고 어려운 것들이 아니라 내 스케줄 속에서 만나지는 사람이 하나님의 계획이 있는 사람이요. 그 스케줄 속에 전도가 숨어 있다는 것을 깨닫게 되었습니다.
And I realized that evangelism is not something that's very ambiguous or difficult. I realized that within the time frame of my day, whoever God brings to me that day is that subject to share the gospel with. That's what I realized for today's evangelism.
제가 하나로마트에서 장을 보고 있는데 저쪽에서 한 4, 5년 전에 어린이집을 졸업한 아이 그 엄마가 저에게 인사를 하며 다가올 일이 있었습니다.
There was a time when I was shopping at Hanaro Mart, and there was a student who had graduated from our daycare center about 4 or 5 years ago. I saw her mother in the market, and she waved to me, greeting me.
그 엄마가 저에게 필요 이상으로 굉장히 반가워하면서 선생님 보고 싶었다면서 선생님 그때 1년 전에 수술했는데 선생님 수술할 때 나 굉장히 하루 종일 울었다면서 건강은 괜찮으시냐면서 굉장히 친한 척 다가오는 모습을 볼 수 있었습니다.
And she was really overly friendly, maybe even more so than what most would have expected. And she was so excited to see me, and she was asking me, I know that you got a surgery last year. Were you okay? Is your health okay now? And she said that when I got surgery, she was crying all day because of it.
저는 그렇게 친하게 하는 그 모습이 이해가 안 되었어요. 왜냐하면 그렇게 내가 아팠을 때 걱정이 됐다면 병문안이라도 와야 되지 않을까요? 전화 한 통이라도 했어야 되는데 그런 건 없었거든요.
And so at the time, because she was so friendly, I didn't really understand, because if she really did care that much for me, when I was in the hospital, she should have come to visit me or at least have given me a phone call.
그때까지만 해도 저는 이 사람에게 중지자 편지를 하나 전달하면 되겠구나 이렇게 생각하고 있었어요.
And so at the time I just thought to myself, I should just share with her a church officer newsletter. I should just give this to her.
그때 저쪽에서 그 엄마의 남편 되시는 분이 다가와서 저에게 인사를 했어요.
And at that time, her husband came from across the mart and he greeted me as well.
선생님, 우리 집사람 말 진짜예요. 이 사람 선생님 수술하는 날 하루 종일 징징거리고 울고 밥도 안 먹었어요. 라고 얘기를 하는 거예요.
And he said, you know what, teacher? What she's saying is true. The day that you went to receive the operation, she was crying all day. She was so irritable. She wouldn't even eat her meals.
그때 비로소 사실인가 보다 이렇게 생각을 했는데 그때 저는 하나님께서 이 가정을 나에게 붙이셨구나 오늘 라는 것을 깨닫게 되었습니다.
And at that time I realized perhaps this is actually true. And then I realized maybe God has attached this family to me today.
그래서 제가 집에 한번 놀러 가도 되겠냐 물어봤더니 흔쾌히 수락을 했습니다.
And so I asked if I could visit their home once, and they were very acquiescent of it.
저는 만날 시간과 장소를 약속하고 너무 신이 나서 또 목사님께 전화를 드렸죠.
And so I set a time as well as a place to meet, and I was so overjoyed. Once again, I called my pastor.
그랬더니 저희 목사님께서는 하나님이 예비하신 사람이 맞으니 무조건 영접을 시켜라 이렇게 말씀하시더라고요.
And my pastor said, surely God has prepared this family and these people, and so you must lead them to accept Jesus.
그래서 저는 정말 찾아갔는데 정말 저를 맞기 위해서 얼마나 많은 음식을 준비해서 저를 기다리고 있었습니다.
And so I did go to visit them, and they had prepared such a vast meal to serve me.
제가 복음을 전하는데 복음 전하려고 준비했던 것처럼 복음을 받고 영접하려고 준비했던 것처럼 그분은 그렇게 복음을 순순히 듣고 영접을 했습니다.
And so I went and I shared the gospel with them. It was almost as if they were expecting to receive the gospel, to accept Jesus, because with such a pure heart, they accepted the gospel wholly.
그 남편 되시는 분은 영접을 안 하는 거예요.
But her husband didn't want to receive the gospel.
왜냐하면 장손인데 오늘 예수님을 영접한다면 내 인생이 180도 바뀌어야 되는데 이 큰일을 이 순간에 하기는 어렵다는 거죠.
He's saying that because he's the firstborn of the family, the head of the household, he was saying, if I accept Jesus, my life will change 180 degrees, and he wasn't ready for that kind of change.
그래서 제가 그러면 내가 일주일에 한 번씩 여기 와서 성경 공부를 하고 싶은데 해도 되겠냐고 물어봤습니다.
And so I asked, well, I would like to come once a week to lead a Bible study here. Can I do that?
그랬더니 너무 감사하다고 하면서 사례는 얼마씩 드려야 되나 물어봤습니다.
And so he said, I'd be really thankful for that. And he was asking, well, how much should we compensate you for that?
이거는 돈을 받고 하는 일이 아니니 그냥 오게만 해달라고 하면서 말씀 운동이 시작되었습니다.
And so I told them, you don't need to compensate me for anything. And this is something that I just want to do out of my whole heart. So all you need to do is accept this. And so I went, and every week we opened up the word movement.
저는 제 고정관념과 편견에 의해서 이 남자분은 영접을 쉽게 안 하겠구나라고 생각하고 그 다음 다락방 하는 날 그 집을 방문했습니다.
And so with my fixed thoughts, with my own stereotypes and prejudices, I thought this man will not easily accept Jesus. So the next time I went to the 다락방 and I shared the gospel again.
그래서 다락방을 시작하려고 하는데 그분이 예원이 어머님인데 그분이 선생님 잠깐만요. 저희 남편 영접하려고 하거든요. 하고 말을 하는 거예요.
And so we were right about to begin the 다락방, but all of a sudden the mother, she's the mother of Yewon, a child named Yewon, and she was saying, hold on teacher, my husband wants to accept.
그래서 저는 다시 복음을 전하고 그분께서 영접을 하셨습니다.
And so once again I shared the gospel and the husband also accepted Jesus.
근데 그 남편이 말씀하시는 거예요. 선생님, 저요 일주일 내내 영접 안 하면 이혼을 하니 집을 나가니 얼마나 괴롭히는지 저 진짜 힘들었습니다라고 얘기를 하는 거예요.
And so the husband said to me, Teacher, do you know how much my wife harassed me throughout the week? She was saying, if you don't accept Jesus, you're going to get kicked out of the house, you need to leave the home, I'm going to get a divorce from you.
그러나 저 진실되게 영접했습니다라고 또 고백을 했습니다.
But he confessing, but I really sincerely want to accept Jesus.
전에는 이렇게 뜨거운 가슴을 안고 저희 또 제가 전도한 선생님에게 전도를 보여주겠다고 동네마다 돌아다니면서 문전박대를 당하고 욕을 먹고 했었거든요. 근데 하루 스케줄 속에 이렇게 전도가 있는 줄은 정말 몰랐습니다.
Before I had such a zeal and passion that I would go all throughout the neighborhood. I wanted to show my other teachers how much I was evangelizing. So I'd knock on the doors. People would curse me. They would chase me away. But I realized I didn't know that evangelism was just right inside of my daily schedule.
한 번은 제가 그날 아침 오늘의 말씀 중에 오네시모라는 말씀을 붙잡고 이 시대에 오네시모라는 학생들, 특히 요즘 학생들은 이 오네시모와 같은 학생들이 많이 있잖아요. 학생들이 오네시모인데라는 생각을 하고 기도하고 있다 미용실에 가게 되었습니다.
There was another day when I was holding on to today's word. The message that day was about Onesimus. And these days a lot of students are like Onesimus. And I began to pray, I know that God has prepared for me an Onesimus student of this age. And then afterwards I went to the hair salon.
미용실 원장님은 저희 어린이집 자모였기 때문에 저는 그 원장님이 제발 오늘만큼은 복음을 듣고 영접할 수 있는 기회가 생기기를 간절히 바라면서 그 미용실을 가게 되었습니다.
And I went to the hair salon and the chief hair salonist there. I had an acquaintance with her. I really wanted her to accept the gospel finally. And so I was really praying for her.
그런데 그날 손님이 너무 많아서 복음을 전할 기회가 없었습니다.
But that day there were so many customers that there was no opportunity for me to share the gospel with her.
그래서 저는 중지자 편지를 하나 놓고 가야 되겠다라고 일어섰습니다.
And so I just got up and I thought to myself, I'm just going to leave this church officer newsletter here for her.
그때 옛날에 복음을 듣고 다락방을 했다 헤어졌던 저를 피해서 도망갔던 남학생이 딱 들어오는 것이었어요.
But all of a sudden, a male student who before had been doing 다락방 with me, but he didn't want to hear the gospel, so he ran away. He came in through the door.
우리는 너무 오랜만에 만나서 너무 반가워서 서로 막 소리를 지르면서 펄쩍펄쩍 뛰었습니다.
And it had been such a long time that we had seen each other that we were so overjoyed we began to jump up and down, screaming and hugging each other.
근데 얘가 저한테 대뜸 처음 하는 말이 선생님 아직도 그 얘기하고 다녀요? 라고 물어보는 거예요.
But the first thing that the student asked me was, Teacher, do you still talk about those things?
야, 그건 당연히 평생 동안 할 얘기지. 너한테도 필요한 거잖아. 라고 제가 말을 했습니다.
And so I told him, those things are things that I must speak about for the rest of my life, and that's something that you need as well.
그래서 저는 그 학생을 데리고 제 차에 가서 다시 복음을 전하고 다락방을 했습니다.
So I took that student into my car. I shared the gospel again with him, and then we did a 다락방 in the car.
이 아이도 역시 옛날에 과거 전적이 조금 화려한 편이기 때문에 제가 역시 그날 오네시모에 관한 메시지를 하게 되었습니다.
He also has some very exceptional experiences of his past, and so even that day, I shared with him a message about Onesimus.
근데 이 아이가 선생님 다른 오네시모가 있다는 거예요.
But all of a sudden he said, "But teacher, I know another Onesimus."
자기 반에 체육활동 시간이었는데 자기는 당번이어서 교실을 지키느라고 체육활동 시간에 안 나간 거예요. 그런데 그때 돈이 없어진 거였습니다.
And so it was PE time at school, and because he had an errand to run in the classroom, he hadn't gone out. But during that time, some money had disappeared.
모든 친구들과 선생님이 자기를 도둑으로 지목해서 자백하라고 요구를 하는 거예요.
And because he was in the room at the time, the teacher as well as all his classmates were demanding that he return the money that he fessed up to the crime.
자기는 정말 안 했는데 너무 억울한 상황이 되었죠.
But he said that he really hadn't taken the money, so he was really flabbergasted.
그런 사정을 모르고 선생님께서는 전원 다 책상 위에 올라가서 손 들고 서 있으라고 벌을 주신 거예요.
And because the teacher didn't know that, the teacher told all the students to go up on the table to the desk and gave them a punishment.
그리고 도둑이 자백을 할 때까지 손을 들고 있으라고 말씀을 하셨습니다.
And the teacher told them all to raise up their hands and stay that way until the person who had actually stolen the money confessed to the crime.
그때 주변의 학생들이 이 아이를 막 노려보면서 좀 고백 좀 하지 막 째려보는 거예요.
And he said that at that time all his classmates kept leering at him saying, "Why don't you confess to the crime that you committed?"
이때 이 아이가 저에게 들었던 요셉의 옛날에 들었던 요셉이 생각났답니다.
And he said that at that time he remembered the story of Joseph that he had heard from me a long time ago.
참 억울하다.
He realized he's just being falsely accused.
하나님 도와주세요.
And he prayed saying, God help me.
그런데 기도 응답은 없고 팔은 점점 아파오기 시작하는 거죠.
But there was no prayer answer, and his arms just began to go very tired.
그때 이 학생이 생각하기를 내가 이 친구들을 위해서 그냥 훔쳐갔다고 거짓 자백을 할까 생각을 했답니다.
And at that time, he thought to himself, maybe just for the sake of my own fellow classmates, I should just confess to a crime that I didn't commit.
그러면서 마지막으로 하나님께 어떻게 해야 되느냐고 물어봤답니다.
And he said that he asked God for the last moment, God, what should I do?
하나님께서 이 문제를 해결해 주신다면 내가 다시 예수님을 잘 믿겠다고 그렇게 또 얘기를 했답니다.
And he also gave God an ultimatum saying, God, if you resolve this problem for me, then I'll believe in Jesus really well from now on.
그 순간에 이 학생 옆자리에 앉은 아이가 갑자기 울음을 터뜨리면서 자기가 가져갔다고 고백을 했답니다.
But at that time, all of a sudden, the student who was sitting next to him began to cry and said, I'm the one who stole the money.
그래서 이 작은 사건은 이렇게 해결되었는데 이 학생이 바로 이 학생의 옆에 돈을 진짜로 가져갔던 이 학생이 오네시모인데 이 오네시모를 나에게 이제 소개시켜 주게 된 것입니다.
And so this small ordeal was resolved this way, and he was saying that that student who was sitting next to him is a real Onesimus, and he wanted to introduce that Onesimus to me.
이렇게 오늘 붙잡은 작은 말씀이 내 하루 일과 속에 그대로 성취되는 걸 보면서 전도자의 삶은 이런 것이구나라는 것을 조금 알게 되었습니다.
I held on to today's word, a very small word of the day, and I saw how that was continued all throughout my daily schedule, and I realized this is the life of the evangelist.
전에 제가 알던 전도자의 삶은 나와는 조금 거리가 있고 또 내 수준과는 거리가 있는 너무 힘들고 고달프게 느껴졌던 그런 단어였습니다.
The life of the evangelist that I knew before then, before that time, was very far from me, and it was so cumbersome and so burdensome to me.
근데 저에게 이제 깨달아지기 시작하는 전도자의 삶은 가장 편안한 것이었습니다.
But the life of the evangelist I was realizing now, it was so comfortable to me.
내 삶 속에서 하나님이 나와 함께 하시는 것을 누리면서 그냥 기도하고 있으면 되는 것이었습니다.
Because it was simply about enjoying God who is with me in my daily life, and I was able to experience the answers that came out from that.
저는 그때 저희 목사님께서 강단에서 매주 말씀하셨던 복음을 누리니까 너무 평안하다, 만족하다, 여유가 넘친다, 든든하다라고 고백하시는 그 고백이 저에게도 조금 성취되고 있구나라는 것을 느끼게 되었습니다.
And that's when I began to realize that the confession that my pastor made every single time he stood up on this pulpit, that he was just enjoying the gospel, and he's so at peace, that he is so steadfast, that he's not shaken, and that he's just has so much leisure in his heart. That was being fulfilled in my life as well.
제가 이렇게 조금씩 살아나기 시작하니까 제가 사역하는 아이들이 또 변화되기 시작했습니다.
And as I began to be revived little by little, even the students that I was ministering to began to change.
3년 동안, 4년 동안 굳건히 1대1 다락방을 하던 학생이 아무리 메시지를 해도 전도를 안 하던 학생이 전도를 하기 시작했습니다.
There was a student I'd been doing 다락방 with for 3-4 years straight, but the student had never evangelized. All of a sudden, the student began to evangelize.
학교에서 학급 회의 시간에 건의사항을 말해보라고 했는데 한 남학생이 갑자기 아유 죽고 싶어라고 소리를 고래고래 지르면서 선생님한테 혼나는 그런 장면이 연출되었습니다.
There was a meeting time in the school, and all the students were gathered together. It was a time to give some propositions, some proposals, and all of a sudden a male student began to shout out saying, "Oh, I want to die," and he got in trouble by the teacher.
그 아이가 죽고 싶다고 고백했을 때 많은 아이들은 웃음을 터뜨리며 농담으로 얼머부렸지만 우리 랩넌트는 저 아이에게 복음이 필요하구나라는 것을 느끼게 되었습니다.
And when that student shouted out saying, "I want to die," some of the other students began to laugh, and they passed over very lightly, but this remnant realized that student needs the gospel.
그래서 그 아이에게 찾아가서 내가 김유미 선생님을 소개시켜 줄 테니까 한번 만나볼래라고 말을 했습니다.
And so this remnant went to that student and said, "I want to introduce this teacher Kim Yumi to you. Do you want to meet with her?"
그 사람이 누군데? 우리 교회 다니는 선생님이야.
And so the boy asked, "Who is she?" And the student answered, "Well, she's a teacher at my church."
나도 교회 많이 가봤는데 교회 싫어 이렇게 말을 하는 거예요.
And the boy replied saying, "I've gone to church for a very long time and I don't really like the church."
그때 이 학생이 야, 그 선생님은 좀 틀려라고 말을 했습니다.
And so this remnant told that boy, "You know that teacher? She's a little bit different."
이렇게 아이들이 전도를 조금씩 하기 시작했습니다.
And in this way, these students began to evangelize little by little.
또 한 가지 변화는 목사님께서 저에게 그 시골에 계시는 나이가 많으신 우리 어르신들에게 다락방 하는 것을 시키셨습니다.
And also there was another change that arose. Our pastor asked me to go to countryside where there are a lot of elderly people to share the gospel with them there.
3년째, 4년째 말씀을 전해도 통하지를 않았습니다.
And we've been sharing the word with them for 3-4 years, but we just couldn't get through to them.
영접이 의심스러워서 정말 수백 번 영접시켜고 나서 예수님이 어디 계신지 물어보면 꼭 교회에 계신다고 하셨습니다.
And because we were so doubtful of whether they had accepted Jesus or not, out of that suspicion, we kept sharing the gospel time and time again. They accepted Jesus over 100 times, but whenever we asked, where is Jesus, they would say, in the church.
가끔은 하늘에 계신다고도 말씀하셨고요.
Occasionally, they would say, in heaven.
저는 그래서 막 아이들에게 사용하는 시청각 자료를 가져가서 예수님이 십자가에 못 박혀 피 흘리시는 모습, 사단의 머리가 깨지는 모습, 막 이런 것들을 보여주면서 열심히 복음을 전해도 이분들에게 안 통했습니다.
And so sometimes I would take these pictures that we would often use to evangelize to these younger students about Jesus bleeding, dying upon the cross, of Satan's head being crushed. We shared the gospel, but they wouldn't respond to it.
심지어는 이 동네에 할머니 한 분께서 저희가 밤마다 다락방을 하니까 일주일에 한 번씩 다락방을 하니까 궁금해서 구경을 오셨습니다.
And so there was even one grandmother who was living in the neighborhood because we would come every week to share the gospel and do 다락방. She was so curious that she came to visit.
근데 저희 교회 어르신들께서 쫓아내셨습니다.
But the elderly people in our church, they cast her away.
이유가 뭐냐면 저 사람은 거짓말을 잘하기 때문에 우리 교회 오면 큰일 난다고 쫓아내셨습니다.
And they cast her away saying that because she is such a good liar, she can't remain in our church.
저런 사람이 우리 교회 오면 우리 목사님이 힘들고 고생한다면서 굳이 쫓아내서 들어오지 못하게 하실 때도 있었습니다.
And there was even a time where they were saying that because she's such a good liar, if she comes to the church, things will get very hard for our pastor. And so they even barred her from coming inside the church.
그런데 이분들이 기도 응답을 받기 시작하고 있습니다.
But now these elderly people are now receiving answers to prayer.
지갑을 잊어버렸는데 기도해서 찾으셨다고요.
Somebody said that they lost their wallet, but she prayed and then she found her wallet again.
유모차를 잊어버렸는데 기도했더니 찾으셨다고.
They lost their stroller, but then they prayed and all of a sudden they found it again.
지난주에는 농사를 짓고 계시다 너무 힘들어서 이제 농사를 못 짓게 되셨는데 땅을 누구에게인가 줘야 되는데 막막해서 기도를 하셨답니다.
And so last week there was one person who was saying that because they've been farming for such a long time, they're so old now they can't farm any longer. They wanted to give the land over to somebody else, but they didn't know who to give it to, so they began to pray.
그래서 동네 이장님께 부탁을 해서 남에게 땅을 임대하려고 했는데 너무 저렴한 값을 말씀하셔서 실망하셨답니다.
And so he went and told the village leader there, but the village leader actually came up with a price range that was very low to rent that land, and so he was kind of disappointed.
그래서 집에 다시 와셔서 기도를 하셨는데 그때 서울에서 인삼 농사를 짓겠다고 이사 오신 분이 이 우리 어르신을 만나게 된 거예요.
And then he went back home and he was praying about this, and then all of a sudden he received a phone call from somebody who wanted to farm ginseng.
그래서 좋은 가격에 우리 어르신 땅을 임대하게 되었습니다.
And so this person from Seoul who wanted to farm ginseng actually rented that piece of land for a very reasonable price.
이렇게 계속 기도 응답을 받으시면서 너무너무 행복하고 즐거워하시는 모습으로 바뀌게 되었습니다.
And now they're slowly changing to become more overjoyed, so happy because they're receiving answers to prayer.
또 한 번은 제가 지난 3월 1일 전에 입학식 준비를 하느라고 굉장히 분주했습니다.
Before March 1st, we were preparing for our enrollment ceremony for the new students, and so I was very busy.
어린이집에서는 입학식 준비가 분주하기 때문에 봄방학을 해서 아이들은 쉬게 하고 교사들은 매일 출근해서 일을 하게 됩니다.
And usually the daycare centers, because we're preparing for the new students who are enrolling, we have to prepare so much for them that we actually put all the other students to spring break. All the teachers come out to the school to work.
다른 선생님들은 이것저것 일이 많아도 야근을 하거나 이렇게 저렇게 채울 수 있는데 저는 시간이 너무 부족해서 도저히 따라갈 수가 없었습니다.
And so all the other teachers, they could either work late into the night and overtime, but for me, I had a lack of time to do all of that.
그때 저희 어린이집 조리사님이 저에게 말씀을 하시는 거예요.
At that time, the chef in our daycare center said to me,
우리 딸이 와서 도와주라고 할까요? 라고 말을 하시더라고요.
she said, do you want me to ask my daughter if she wants to come out and help you?
그래서 제가 이 일은 잘 만들고 이쁘게 만들고 기술이 필요하기 때문에 좀 전문성이 필요해서 안 될 것 같다 얘기했습니다.
And so I told her, well, you need a lot of specialized skill for this because you need to be very crafty, you need to be very artistic.
그랬더니 우리 딸이 화장품 공학과를 나와서 지금 취직을 못해서 놀고 있는데 색종이 접기, 팝 아트 여러 가지 그 자격증이 많다고 했습니다.
And she said that her daughter actually come out from engineering for cosmetics, and because she couldn't get employed, she has a lot of certification for pop art or some sort of crafts and paper folding.
그래서 저는 하나님이 보내신 사람이라는 걸 알 수 있었습니다.
And so I was able to detect that this is truly a person that God has prepared for me.
정말 제가 한 번만 말하면 끝내주게 잘 만들어 놓는 거예요.
Because whenever I just issued the command, she would make it so well.
너무 감사하고 신기했습니다.
I was so thankful and I was very astonished.
그러다가 이 학생에게 제가 복음을 전하게 되었습니다.
And then I shared the gospel with the student.
근데 이 학생이 얘기를 하는 거예요.
But the student said this to me.
이 복음이 자기가 전에 있던 연구실에 정말 예수 믿는 사람에게 또 필요하다는 거죠.
She said that before she was in a research facility, but there's another person there who really direly needs this gospel.
이 학생은 이번에 졸업은 했지만 성적이 좋아서 교수님 연구실에서 일을 돌봐주고 있었는데 자기 친구가 거기서 같이 일을 했는데 그 친구는 신앙이 매우 좋은 사람이라고 했습니다.
And so this student had actually had very high scores coming out as a graduate of that school and that program that she was working as a lab assistant to a professor there. And there was a friend that she had who had very good faith.
그런데 주일날 급한 일이 있거나 연구하는데 일을 많이 해야 될 경우 주의를 지키겠다고 무조건 빠지게 되어서 연구실 직원들과 계속 충돌이 일어나고 있었습니다.
But because she had such good faith, whenever there was some urgent business that had to be taken care of in the lab facility, but it was the Lord's day, she would always skip out on her job and go to church. That's why there was a lot of problems and conflicts with her other coworkers.
그래서 이 믿음이 좋다는 이 사람은 우리 조리사님 딸 불신자에게 상담을 하는 거예요.
And so this friend with good faith would continue to get counseling and advice from this daughter of the chef of our school who's a non-believer.
그래서 우리 조리사님 딸이 이름이 보나인데 보나가 이제 얘기를 해주었습니다. 주일날 바쁠 때는 와서 빠졌다가 저녁 때 와서 못했던 일들을 다 해라.
And so the daughter of the chef, her name is Bona, and Bona was telling her, well then why don't you just go to church and come back to the lab in the evening to complete the work that you haven't been able to take care of.
그러면서 얘기를 했지만 그 갈등이 잘 해결이 되지 않았던 모양이에요.
And so even though she did give that kind of advice, perhaps that conflict was not getting resolved very well.
그래서 이 친구에게 보나가 예수 믿는 게 뭔지 물어봤는데 영 시원치 않은 대답만 듣게 된 거예요.
And so Bona asked his friend, and what does it mean to believe in Jesus? And she received a very strange response and reply.
그래서 이 보나라는 학생이 자기 친구, 연구실에 있는 그 친구, 마음만은 진실한데 예수 믿는 게 뭔지 잘 모르는 이 친구에게도 이 복음을 전해달라고 부탁했습니다.
And so Bona asked me to share the gospel with that other faithful friend of hers who had a very good heart, but she didn't really seem to know what faith entailed.
그래서 이렇게 하나님께서 하루 일과와 스케줄 속에서 만나는 사람들이 자연스럽게 예수님을 영접하는 것을 보게 되었습니다.
So through that I was able to see how people that I was able to meet with throughout the day within my schedule very naturally came to accept Jesus.
저희 어린이집의 선생님들에게는 복음이 잘 전달되지 않았습니다.
Before, to the teachers of my daycare center, I wasn't able to easily share the gospel with them.
저는 포기하지 않고 중지자 편지를 계속 줬는데 받으면서 자기는 문수함이라는 절에 이름이 올려있기 때문에 헛수고하지 말라면서 싫다고 했습니다.
And so I would often give them the church officer newsletter, but some of them would even say, well, my name is enrolled in this one Buddhist temple named Munsuan, so you don't need to waste your energy for me.
그 말을 듣고 잠깐 흔들리긴 했지만 그래도 계속 중직자 편지를 주게 되었습니다.
And so I heard those words. I was a little bit shaken up at first, but still I continued to give this church officer newsletter.
그러던 어느 날 그 선생님이 외출을 하셨고 저는 그 선생님 교실에서 아이들을 잠시 돌보게 되었습니다.
Then one day that same teacher happened to go outside for business and I had to take over her class.
우리 선생님이 어떤 교육 프로그램으로 아이들을 가르치는지 궁금해서 선생님 책상에 있는 파일들을 열어보기 시작했습니다.
I was curious as to with what kind of educational program she was conducting her lesson, so I opened up the files on her desk.
근데 제가 1년 동안 전달했던 중지자 편지를 하나도 빼놓지 않고 파일집에 꽂아놓고 있었던 거예요.
But she had actually taken all the newsletters that I'd given to her throughout the year and she had put it into that binder.
그것도 놀라운데 곳곳에 자기가 빨간 줄로 밑줄을 쳐놓은 걸 보게 되었습니다.
Even that itself was amazing, but I saw that she had underlined certain portions of that newsletter with red pen.
더 놀라운 건 영접 기도문에는 꼭 빨간 줄로 언더라인을 해놓은 거예요.
What's even more amazing is every time the acceptance period came out in the newsletter, she would underline all that with a red pen.
이 선생님이 혼자서 영접을 했나 보다. 이렇게 저는 생각을 하게 되었습니다.
So I thought to myself, perhaps this teacher just accepted Jesus Christ on her own.
그래서 그 선생님이 다시 돌아왔을 때 그 파일집을 보이면서 이게 지금 무슨 시츄에이션이냐고 제가 물어봤습니다.
So when she returned back to the school, I opened up the binder and I asked her, what is the situation here?
막 웃더니 다시 그 복음을 전해달라고 말했습니다.
And she began to laugh and she said, can you share the gospel with me again?
이렇게 큰 일들은 아니지만 이렇게 작은 일들이 저의 삶 속에서 전도자의 삶으로 연결이 되는 것을 제가 체험하게 되었습니다.
These are not really great works, but I saw all these small things arise within my life and my daily schedule connected to the life of the evangelist.
그러다가 어느 날 제가 문득 제 주변을 돌아보니까 제가 크게는 하지 못하지만 작은 사역을 하고 있는 렘넌트들 주변에서 아, 내가 또 황금어장에 와 있구나라는 것을 느끼게 되었습니다.
And one day when I looked around all around me, I realized that I'm having this small ministry together with the students that I'm ministering to, but I realized this itself is the golden field.
보은 지역의 25개의 초중고가 또 진짜 황금어장인 거예요.
Because I realized that 25 elementary, junior, and senior high schools in the Poland region are truly the golden fields.
그러면서 제가 아, 이것이 내가 사는 이유구나라는 것이 깨달아지기 시작했습니다.
And I began to realize slowly that this is the purpose for my life.
전에는 머릿속에서는 가득 찼지만 가슴에서 그렇게 안 되었던 이 복음이 내 가슴에 조금 뿌리 내릴 때 저는 내 삶의 이유를 깨닫게 되었습니다.
Before the gospel filled my head entirely, but it wasn't coming down into my heart. And when this gospel began to slowly be rooted in my heart, I realized that these kinds of evidences began to arise in my life.
저는 사람이 굉장히 단순해서 제가 아이들에게 복음을 전하는데 제가 은혜를 제일 많이 받습니다.
I think people are really simple-minded because even when I'm sharing the gospel with our students, I'm the one who receives the most grace.
다락방 할 때 아이들에게 메시지를 하면서 제가 은혜를 제일 많이 받습니다.
As I lead the 다락방 and I give the message in the 다락방 meeting, I receive the most grace.
한 번은 어떤 학생에게 복음을 전하는데 갑자기 눈물이 확 쏟아졌습니다.
There was a time when I was sharing the gospel with one student and I began to cry.
그래서 그 학생이 선생님 왜 울어요? 라고 물어보는 거예요.
And the teacher asked me, the student asked me saying, "Teacher, why are you crying?"
그래서 제가 나 너무 행복해서 울어. 나 하나님이 나를 왜 이렇게 사랑하니? 라고 제가 고백했습니다.
And so I confessed to her, I'm crying because I'm so happy. How come God loves me so much?
그랬더니 그 학생이 헐 그러는 거예요.
And that student just choked back a laugh.
그러면서 그 학생도 역시 눈물로 예수님을 영접했습니다.
But even that student accepted Jesus in tears.
저는 내 자신이 큰 변화는 아니지만 이렇게 그리스도에 대해서 제가 조금씩 알고 체험하면서 저희 강단에서 선포되었던 이런 모든 메시지들이 전에는 내가 잘 알고 있다고 자부했고 또 목사님께서 하시는 그 메시지를 나 나름대로 판단했었거든요.
And though these are not tremendous changes, I realized that these changes began to rise in me as I realized that Christ became the Lord of my life. Before, when the pastor gave a sermon on the pulpit, I did receive grace, but there are times when I passed judgment too.
근데 20년이 지난 지금 내가 그것을 조금씩 맛보기 시작하고 있는 거예요.
But 20 years have passed now, and slowly I'm getting a taste for that.
예수 그리스도 맞구나.
I realize it's true, Jesus Christ.
예수 그리스도 맞구나라는 것을 이제서 확인하고 있는 거예요.
And Jesus Christ, that's right, and I'm coming to confirm that nowadays.
이런 나에게 하나님은 육신적인 필요를 채워주시기 시작했습니다.
And to me, when I had these kind of realizations, God began to even fill my physical needs as well.
한 번은 다른 교회 다니는 저희 다락방 하는 교회가 아니고 다른 교회 다니시는 집사님이신데 새벽 기도를 하는데 하나님께서 감동하셨답니다.
One time there was a deaconess who's from a non-다락방 church. She said she was praying in the early morning and God really touched her heart.
저 보은 임마누엘 교회 권사에게 보약을 해주라. 그러면 네가 복을 받을 것이다. 이런 감동이 왔답니다.
And she was really touched in her heart, and God really spoke to her, saying, "If you provide these, mineral supplements for the senior deaconess in Poland Emmanuel Church, then God will surely bless you."
정말 상식적으로는 이해할 수 없는 일이지만 사실입니다.
And so you really cannot come to understand what that means with commonsensical terms, but that's true.
제가 전도가 뭔지 조금 알고 누리고 있을 때 하나님은 내게 무엇이 필요한지 계속 살피고 도와주는 사람들이 생겨나게 하셨습니다.
I came to know what evangelism was a little bit and began to enjoy it just a little bit. And all around me, God sent these people who always see what I need.
지난 겨울에는 제가 언제 도둑을 맞았는지 모르지만 겨울옷을 다 도둑 맞았습니다.
Last winter, I don't know when it was, but there was a time when all of my winter clothes got stolen.
겨울 코트가 다 없어졌는데 도대체 언제 도둑을 맞았는지 알 수가 없어요.
And all of my winter clothes, coats were stolen, but I don't even know when somebody came in to steal all that.
너무 황당하고 이해가 안 돼서 만나는 모든 사람에게 겨울 코트를 도둑 맞았다고 얘기를 했습니다.
And so I was so dumbfounded that I began to share with everybody that I met with that somebody had stolen all of my winter coats.
그랬는데 그 겨울 코트가 지금은 모직부터 시작해서 모피까지 10개가 넘습니다.
But now I have over 10 of these coats, all different types of material, lining and fur coats too.
지난 교회는 차량 운행을 하는데 눈이 와서 스노우 타이어를 하고 싶다고 생각했습니다.
And so before there was a snow day and I thought to myself, I want to put some snow tires on my car.
근데 저희 교회 권사님이 스노우 타이어를 말없이 갈아주셨습니다.
But a senior deaconess of my church just very wordlessly came and put some snow tires on.
이렇게 하나님은 저를 막 응원하시는 것을 제가 느끼게 되었습니다.
I really feel that God is cheering me on.
하나님은 언제나 저와 함께 계시지만 사실은 오늘의 제가 그다지 훌륭하지 못하지만 오늘의 제가 있었다는 건 저희 보은 임마누엘 교회가 있었다는 그 배경이 있었다는 것을 고백하고 싶습니다.
And I know that God is always with me, but one other additional confession that I want to make is that the reason why I'm here standing before you today is because of my church, Bowen Emmanuel Church.
저는 너무 부족한데 머리끝부터 발끝까지 온통 복음이신 목사님을 만났고요.
Even though I'm so inadequate, I met with a pastor who's full of only gospel from head to toe.
나이가 많으신 분도 있으시지만 저희 교회 모든 평신도와 중직자분들이 오직 복음 하나로 뭉쳐지며 핍박과 환난을 두려워하지 않는 모습들을 어릴 때부터 보고 자랐습니다.
And there are people, some of them are very elderly, but I saw from all of our church officers in our church that despite all the trials, despite all the persecution, they stood their ground for their faith. And I saw that since I was very young.
남편분들이 저희 교회 와서 불을 지르는 건 다반사고요. 교회 유리를 깨는 것도 흔한 일이었습니다.
It was very frequent that these husbands of the wives who were attending our church would come to our church and set the church on fire and even break the windows.
그렇게 힘들고 어려운 그런 핍박들이 있었지만 어떤 분 한 분 굴하지 않고 열심히 전도자의 삶을 사는 모습들을 제가 보게 되었습니다.
But despite all those trials and persecutions, I saw all of those people, the people of faith, living their walk of faith and life of the evangelist despite it all.
네, 저희 교회는 이렇게 소중하고 너무 복음을 사랑하시고 전도를 열정적으로 알고 계시는 귀중한 중직자분들이 많이 계신데 이 배경 속에서 제가 자라게 되어서 오늘의 제가 되었습니다.
And the church that I'm attending right now is filled with people with a heart for the gospel and with a joy for evangelism. And within that background, I'm standing here before you today.
만남의 축복이다라고 하는데 하나님께서 저에게 최고의 만남의 축복을 허락해 주셨습니다.
People say that blessing of meeting is everything, but God has granted me the greatest blessing of meetings.
하나님께서 우리 목사님과 우리 교회를 인도해 가시는 역사 속에 부족한 제가 함께 있었음을 감사합니다.
And I'm so thankful that as God leads and guides my church and my pastor, I am standing alongside all those works.
너무 작은 이야기로 간증을 드려서 죄송하지만 여기까지 하는 것으로 마치겠습니다.
I will conclude my testimony with these words. Thank you.